I'm Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter. In today's boxing story that I want to tell you is going to revolve around having confidence. And there's a particular event in my life when I was still a younger fighter. This is just before I made the All Marine Corps boxing team. I was still fighting my way up to get there. I had my very first heavyweight fight. Now, I normally fought a light heavyweight at that time, which is 178. But technically, I should have been down to 165. But you fighters know how it is. Comfortable weight compared to what your weight should be, right? Now, what made this interesting was that I was supposed to fight at 178, but my fighter didn't show up or just backed out of the fight. Now, while I was on the base team, the promoter, he put on great shows, which took place at the Enlisted Club or the E Club ballroom. And it was a beautiful base, beautiful building. I mean, the venue was outstanding. We put on the best shows. It was awesome. But my fighter didn't show, and I was supposed to be semi-main event for this. And I'm like, oh man, all my Marines are going to be out. A lot of folks are coming out to this venue, to this fight. And I'm like, man, what are we going to do? Well, there was supposed to be another heavyweight fight, and one of the fighters didn't show. So the coach came to me and said, hey, sorry about your fighter not showing up, but would you be interested in fighting in the heavyweight weight class to take on this other fighter who is in the same situation as you? And I thought to myself, holy cow, I have never fought in the heavyweight weight class before. Now, mind you, I was 178. The next weight class up would be heavyweight, and that would go until 200 pounds. Amateur weight classes are a little different than professional. So that's a big weight gap difference. And he weighed in the 190s, just shy of the 200-pound weight limit. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I've sparred people that have weighed that much, but I have never fought anybody that heavy. It was legitimately my first heavyweight fight. And I'm sitting there racking in my mind, oh man, what am I going to do? This is in front of all my Marines. I'm like, oh man, what are we going to do? I'm not trying to get knocked out in front of all my homies, right? Now, after wrestling with it for a moment, I finally came to the conclusion, you know what? I don't care. I'm a United States Marine, and if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out fighting and on my shield if I need to. And you know what? Looking at him, there was a Samoan guy, ripped, muscular, tattoos all over. This is before tattoos was kind of a popular thing. And you're looking at him like, okay, all right, I don't care. Let's do this. Let's do this! The fight was on. I stepped up into the ring. My opponent's across in the other corner. And I said, all right, let's get it on. We've got all my Marines here. Let's put on a great show. Let's put on a great fight, no matter what happens. Let's do this. The bell rings and starts the first round. We come right out to the middle. I always had a habit of whenever the bell rings, you come straight out to the middle and you give a nice 1-2-1 to let your opponent know you ain't playing around. Well, that kind of shocked him a little bit, and he came out with this wild hook. I mean, wild hook. He caught me on the glove and partially on the face. My glove kind of deflected a little bit, and he hit hard. I was like, woo, let's not do that one again. That just turned up the heat even more for me, and I said, all right, this guy wants to play. Let's play. Ultimately, I was way too fast for him. I was catching him with jabs, 1-2s, 1-2s, 3s, backing out before he could even throw the punch, and he would be missing. I was tagging him left and right, and it only just built more confidence for me because after that first shot, he didn't touch me again after that. The bell rung, ends the first round. I was extremely confident saying, hey, let's move forward. The second round's going to be even better. Round two, he came out knowing that he didn't win the first round, and so he came out swinging. I pivoted, slipped the punches, and I was countering him beautifully. There was one where he threw a 2, or his power hand. I caught it with my lead hand glove and just countered with my left hand, nailed him square in the jaw, and put him on his rear end. Yeah, he got an 8 count. That was awesome. I was like, yes! He gets up. I said, all right, I'm going to put the pressure on him some more. Started 1-2, 1-2, throwing some hooks, trying to dip and dive and duck and dodge his punches coming back. I put him on the ground again for the second time. He gets his 8 count. Gets back up. I'm assessing him, taking a look at him. I'm catching him off guard and off balance. So I'm looking at him and he's not dizzy or wobbling around or anything else like that. So I'm trying to be careful of, hey, don't get caught walking in. Otherwise, I can end up on the ground too. And this guy's heavyweight. He weighs about 15, 20 pounds heavier than me. I finished up the round with some great combinations, scored big. Coming sitting down in the corner, I said to myself, and I told the coach, I'll never forget this. The coach, his name is Jack Johnson. I told him, I think I could stop him this third round. I think I could stop him. And he says, well, go out there and get it. You got all your Marines out there. Put on a great show. And I said, yes, sir. You hear the whistle for the seconds to be able to get out of the ring. I stand up from my stool, and next thing I know, the towel is thrown in. They didn't want any more. I stopped him. It was a TKO. I'm like, yes! In front of all my Marines, my Marines were hooting and hollering and crying, yeah! Giving those loud Marine Corps screams. It was great. It was awesome. What's the lesson to be learned? Sure, you can be intimidated. The first instinctual feeling that comes in can sometimes be fear when a situation presents itself. But having the confidence in your training, having the confidence in your ability will give you a foundation to move forward and strive to accomplish the task ahead of you. Be bold, take the challenge, and move forward. I'm not saying, hey, go jump up to heavyweight and go take on a fight, unless you are a heavyweight already, right? But this is just an example of being faced with opposition that's well outside my comfort zone, and just being able to reach down with that intestinal fortitude, the Marine way, right? And stepping up to the challenge. Anybody can do it. Ultimately, you're not going to know the outcome of what could be unless you step outside your comfort zone. And of course, hey, worst comes to worst, you put on a great show, and guess what? We as fighters, we're entertainers, right? You put on a great show for the crowd, and you go out on your shield. If you like this content, go ahead and click the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe for the great content we have coming out. And ever more is coming out. Until next time, stay motivated.